Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 16th of January. And well, we saw this happening here with the crossover of Magenta. We saw the DOC with the orange dipping underneath the 7.5, which we warned is the turning point and where we expected stabilization. And then it just took a little excitement, and you can see here from the shakeout that continuing rise, pushing things forward. And so, once that momentum begins, it just the question of, where's your next resistance? And it stopped at the 50K here for the NASDAQ. Is stopped at, it's 50% Morganacci line right there. And we can see the continuation of it with strong readings from there. Now, still don't have a reset completely here of the steel, but within that early dip, that was certainly enough strength. And then lower move on bond market here. So, that was more impetus to move money into the market. When we look at the situation in oil, it just gets bad to worse. And a lot of this has to do with the whole Russia situation. You see the attempted attacks from Ukraine damaging Russia. You also see additional moves into the idea that Russia is claiming that the EU and indirectly the US is sabotaging the Turkish pipeline, which, again, these are all disasters for the EU side of things, forcing them into US LNG. It has a broader impact, slightly affecting the euro, but again, as oil or just the cost of energy rises, whether it's natural gas, otherwise it's a net negative for the euro because they're going to have to get that supply, and the US wants it to be them. And particularly with Trump, that's one of his focuses. Remove the dependence from the Russia side. Of course, they're going to fight tooth and nail not to have that be the case. So this is the the paradigm that we're in at this particular stage. From a gold standpoint, no surprise. With the oil rising, there was no question this had to continue its move. The same thing you're going to see in crypto because, again, it's just a representation of inflation, which we saw the numbers for that. Still ugly, and it's going to be a horrific record when Biden's gone in a few days for what really happened, and whether or not we get the final details on it, that's another issue. But I'm sure there's going to be so many revisions coming back through all the job reports and growth and everything else, and I think it's just going to be a mess. When we turn to the 50K chart, you can see from early on when we saw the dip here in the orange, but then you saw the magenta MBI lead and pretty much stay strong. And even though you had shorts rising into it, they just became fodder for short cover in that situation. And you can see that scale, they just continued to dip and fade. We do have an increase right here that really was a nice spike, but you still have magenta that rising. But as soon as that starts to fade a little bit, particularly probably when we reach a DOC where we get up towards that 13.5. It's pretty hard to sustain it when it gets up into those levels. You can see even here, we had that brief dip down that came right there, but it still supported strongly, and that's just because you have full reset. DOC steel right here coming from below. Not so much at this particular case, so we could see a little bit more of a give back within that, but all in all, pretty strong stuff. When we looked at it from an intraday standpoint, like 5-minute chart, it was certainly quite dramatic. The pre-market boom, and then it was pretty much over by that particular point because then you just had a little bit of fade move across. And even now in post-market, there was some more weakness, but that all got taken care of, bought up, and just a gentle fill back towards the 50% here for the next wave prior to the U.S. Open. So everything is just in preparation for Trump coming in, and of course, the market's going to like things like resolving the Middle East conflict even before he gets into office, like that. So these things kind of help smooth transitional disruption, but the volatility is still going to be huge. So it's not anything that we didn't expect, though. As always, trade well. Have a good one.